guys, welcome to your morning cup. I'm your host Dubby Dubois, and today is July 15, 2021. It is a Thursday afternoon, and we're doing the cup. It's been a little minute, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. We're going to go to the Windy City, the second city, Chi-Town, Chicago, Illinois, and we're going to kick it off with Miss Lori Lightfoot, the embattled mayor of Chicago. I swear, between her and Bill de Blasio, who's on his way out, the New York City mayor, I've never seen a mayor so shredded in their tenure like those two. I couldn't even pick one. I'm not from Chicago, so I can probably, I know de Blasio gets shredded. And from what I can see, I mean, Chicago...
Power off.
Oh, excuse me. Chicago's news is always national, so a lot of people are like, yeah, Chicago... You guys are from Chicago. Hey, listen, you guys got the feds there. That's the national police. So, once your business spills on the lawn, everyone knows, right? Once you put it there, So, the great city of Chicago has had their problems, and Miss Lightfoot was in D.C. and she was dealing with her city's issues on a government level. So, let's see what she got to say. There we go.
Senator,
my bad.
The last week about finger pointing and so forth.
Now, the recent flood and violence, the center of debate in Chicago. Tonight, Mayor Lori Lightfoot responds to unusual public criticism from Cook County's chief judge as Chicago's top cop talks to President Biden at the White House.
And afterward, Police Superintendent Brown touted new federal help to reduce the surge in deadly violence here. Political editor Mike Flannery has more.
After meeting with President Biden and Attorney General Merrick Garland, Superintendent Brown said both made specific pledges to help reduce the violence that so far this year has seen nearly 2,200 people shot here.
It includes additional prosecutions. It includes fast-tracking investigations on conspiracy cases. These are the people that drive violence in our cities.
As Brown talked outside the White House, Mayor Lightfoot spoke to reporters here, responding to unusual public criticism from Chief Judge Timothy Evans. Over the weekend, Evans told us the mayor and Superintendent Brown were repeatedly unfair in attacking Cook County Circuit Court judges for releasing onto electronic monitoring 94 defendants facing murder charges.
Well, they have pointed the finger at us. We know that
remember that electronic monitoring.
There's been a lot of conversation over the course of the last week about finger pointing and so forth. That's not what this is about. I don't know any community that will feel safe when people that are charged with murder that are back out into the community within 24 or 48 hours of being arrested.
I don't know what to tell you guys. She's acting up.
Half of recent Washington Post survey disapprove of the way Biden's handling the surge in urban violence. Only 38% of voters approved. I'm political editor Mike Flannery.
Okay. So Miss Lightfoot and the superintendent, the police superintendent, they were down in D.C. a couple of days ago this week, and in the end of last week, during this past weekend, this man right here, Levante Sylvester, a.k.a. I know him as KTS Dre. People who follow the Chiracology or whatever you want to call it, the war on Chirac, people who have knowledge on that, and I do. And I know what KTS Dre is. He was killed outside of Cook County Courthouse, or Cook County Prison, rather. He was one of the 94 people released on an ankle monitor. I believe he had an attempted murder charge or it was a robbery charge. I'm not positive, but the thing that makes Dre's murder so relevant and more important is the manner of which he was killed. He was shot. There was 65 shell casings there. They said he was shot between 50 and 64 times, depending on the report. KTS Dre was from the Cutthroat family. So let's just get to the report, and I'm going to talk about him and a little bit more of him and what's going on and why this, obviously what has, Miss Lightfoot knows what happened to him. So let's get to the story. Let them tell you, and then we're gonna get into it.
Investigations are underway after two shooting incidents near the Cook County Jail over the weekend.
The Legion's Brona Tumulty joins us now live with details. Hi, Brona.
Good evening, guys. Yeah, the first of those shootings happened on Saturday evening just before 9. A man named Andre Sylvester was leaving the jail. He went by the rap name KTS Dre. He'd just been bailed out, and police say he was ambushed by two men who got out of a vehicle near the jail. Sylvester was shot as many as 64 times and pronounced dead at Mount Sinai. A 60-year-old woman who was with him was shot in the knee and taken to Stroger. A second woman in her 30s was standing nearby when that chaos broke out. She suffered a graze wound to the face. She was taken to Mount Sinai as well, and both women were in good condition at last check. Bullets started flying again, though, outside the jail early this morning, just after midnight. That incident left a 25-year-old man injured. With 2 incidents in as many days, we asked the mayor today if security here needs to be stepped up.
They on her ass.
Well, first of all, I don't control the jail or 26th Street, but obviously we're in conversation with the sheriff and his team. We're concerned about shootings anywhere across the city, and of course, we're very focused on what happened there, and detectives are actively at work identifying suspects, and hopefully we'll have some arrests soon.
I did speak briefly via phone earlier today with the fiancée of Andre Sylvester, and she understandably did not want to speak with us. Well, I was at the Cook County Jail, Bruna Tumulty, WGN News.
WGN Chicago. There's the Cutthroat family. Dre, his dad Vinny Davis Sr., and his little brother Devon Davis, aka Cutthroat Vaughn. Cutthroat Vaughn and the Cutthroat family feud with known rapper G Herbo's clique, the NLMB clique. They've been feuding for 10 years plus years, and when I say feud, I'm not talking about no Facebook banter. We're talking about bullets, we're talking about murders, a lot of dead people. Recently, I believe G Herbo, one of his friends, was killed in a Chicago barbershop. Although G Herbo lives in New York, he still has a lot of ties in Chicago. And KTS Dre been around. His brother was killed 6, 7, 8 years ago. I think it was 14 or 15. His little brother was killed. His little brother, like I said, was a menace. You know, these guys, you see the targets on their neck. It's a Cutthroat family. They serious. They were serious people. Dre's been rumored to be involved in multiple homicides. So, you know, what can you say, yo? You reap what you sow. It's a shame. His grandmother was shot. With the 64-year-old lady that was shot in the knee, she was shot in the shooting. And then the woman that they say is 34 years old, is said to be his sister. Or rather, did they just say it's the fiance? Whatever. But whatever. It was family. She was grazed in the face. Because it was different places. Someone said it was a sister. They say it's the fiance. It was the 34-year-old woman who doesn't want to comment was supposedly grazed in the face, according to the media. Okay. What else? Yeah. So I mean, the whole point politically is with Lord Miss Lightfoot. You know, you got this guy was shot. Shit. You got 2 cars, packed cars, 4-4, and there was 6 gunmen at least. You know, they chewed him up. They chewed him up and they killed him. And you know. But from what I was told, the Cook County or in the Cook County Jail, it's almost in the middle of nowhere, like most prisons are and jails are, and most county jails are. It's in the middle of a desolate area. It's surrounded by Latin neighborhoods, and with that, even that said, that where it's an area where they say it could be even dimly lit at times. And they say you come out there with your check, the money that you had with you when you went in, they'll give it back to you in a check. But if you don't have a ride, you got to walk 10 minutes to a check cashing place in the gang neighborhood. It's just a lot, man. That's a lot of stress. You getting released and you stressed out. And I mean, Dre was not the first person killed outside the jail. There was another guy last week, like they said. And then, of course, the infamous THF Bobo, he was murdered outside of right outside of about half a mile outside of prison after he was followed and released. After he was released and followed and killed. So, like I said, yo, the father, they all gone, and you know they live that life. It is what it is. But as far as the mayor goes, it's just interesting to me, yo. But if you do want to know about the Cutthroat family, you should check Chicago Scene 88. This guy's the truth. If you want to know anything about the Chiracology stuff, any of them, Vaughn, Dirk, any of them, he's got the stuff there. He's got it's a hell of a, even if man, it's alleged. Everything he says on there is alleged. It's a hell of a sight, man, you know, and it's hell of entertainment, to be honest. And it's crazy that it's looked at as, it's fascinating, man. It's crazy. These are people's lives, though, man. And it's a struggle, man. I don't know, like these politicians, they have their ideas, and that's what I'm about to show you right now. because we're being told that gangs are outnumbering the police at a 10-to-1 clip in Chicago. It's like that in a lot of places, obviously, but a lot of Chicago cops are retiring. You know, they're not happy about there being more restricted in their rules with the defund the police. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's see what they're talking about, and we're gonna get into that.
That have retired this year has already surpassed all of the retirements in 2018, and that they are on track to be the highest number in the department's history. In fact, one report claims Chicago gang members now outnumber the city's police officers by 10-to-1. This comes as the crime situation in Chicago grows out of control, and there are calls to defund the police. Joining me is Lance Will.
Sorry, watch the contradiction between these two reports, and they're you know, it's almost the same day, and it's not even the outlets that are reporting it, but it's the two agencies within the city, and they're so conflicting with each other. How are you going to solve a problem? Like, I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. I hope you catch on. And then we're going to talk about it after the vid. Vid's a little, you know, but it's solid. It's solid. A little 4.5. Check it out. Check it out. I'm right here with y'all. Let's go.
Williams, he's professor at Northeastern Illinois University and the assistant director at Jacob C. Carruthers Center for Inner City Studies. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining me this morning. Let's just start with these retirement figures. They're coming from the Police Pension Board. They were revealed by the Sun-Times. Why are so many officers retiring?
Well, first thing that I wanted to correct, I'm no longer the assistant director of the Carruthers Center.
Let me make sure everything's going right. I'm right here.
So I want to just make sure you put that misinformation out. But thanks. Thanks for having me, Sylvia.
Yeah, good.
And yeah, so I think, you know, one of the main reasons that Chicago police officers are retiring and moving on is just because of the stress affiliated with the job. You know, there's been a lot of pushback on law enforcement across the United States of America with the social justice movement, a lot of criticism for aggressive policing, police brutality. And I just think that a lot of the officers are kind of at the point where they feel like this is a bit too much, the job is too risky, rewards are not high enough, they're not being appreciated. And so I think a lot of them are moving on.
Yeah, you know, I'm wondering though, what kind of impact is this going to have, or is it already having on the city's crime rate? Is this why we've been seeing it so bad?
I think there's some influence of policing on crime and violence in Chicago, but we have to be really clear that the bulk of the crime and violence that we see in Chicago is not a result of police efforts or lack of police efforts. It's really a systemic, a social construct problem. You know, we have a lot of problems with.
So he's saying the police presence is a lack of police presence or not enough police presence is not what the problem is. You know, and I tend to agree. He said it's the social structure and, you know, just the whole community, the whole dynamic of the underprivilegedness of the children of Chicago as a whole. And that's pretty obviously to anyone who's really paid attention to this. This is regular economics right here, you know? The crime and the violence will come from the impoverished and underprivileged areas. You could put a bunch of Chinese people there or white people or black people. If there's nothing there, it's going to be a struggle. So, okay, we understand that. We understand that the number of police in the street is not a problem, right? So even though the police are retiring at a record rate this year, I mean, and you can't really blame some of them. Did you know they've been allowed to do police the way they've been allowed to police for 5, 10, and 20 years, and all of a sudden you tell them, nah, you can't do it that way. Even if that way was wretched and corrupted, you was letting them do it. So all of a sudden you're like, no, you can't do it, man, I'm out. I'm out too. It's just human nature. I'm being real, man. So, let's go.
Communities, isolation, a lack of job opportunities, educational opportunities, housing opportunities. Those are the main things that drive violence. And I think law enforcement is frustrated because it's as to police situations that are really social and cultural in context, not really criminal.
Right.
And so even with a massive police force, you're not going to solve the problem of violence that we have in Chicago.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you about that more in a bit, but I want to address what's gone on with the superintendent. He met with the president this week along with some other police leaders, and he tweeted this, and I want to show you this tweet. He said, "We need a sense of urgency right now so we can save lives and serious consequences for those driving gun violence in our cities." Okay, now he's talking about getting federal help, which he is calling a strike force.
It's everybody business.
And in the feds.
Oh, you're killing me, baby. It's everybody business, though, right? It's federal help now, so it's everybody business, man. You know, it sucks when your family business is in the street, but it is what it is, Chicago. You know, yo, man, it's hard to say because a lot of people, you're never gonna stop it, but and maybe so, maybe it will never stop, but we can try to stop it, right? So, but it is these officials' responsibility at the end of the day, because you know, it really is.
I suppose this is different now.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's different, and I would disagree with the superintendent. I mean, I agree that we need a sense of urgency, but again, this strong arm law enforcement approach to this is definitely the wrong-headed way to think about this. Again, you know, most of the crime and violence that we see in Chicago, particularly in African American communities, is not driven by gang activity. It's really interpersonal conflict. It's stress. It's anxiety that's really playing out amongst a group of young men who are so severely isolated from resources in society. Their frustration and anxiety plays out in violence. And then with easy access to weapons, it just makes the situation much worse.
Okay, so let's go back to something you just referenced, which is, does adding more policing stop crime? Historically, has that been shown to have an impact?
No, there's no evidence that shows that there's a correlation between the increasing of police officers and the reduction of crime and violence.
That is crazy. You heard him say it. There's no evidence. There's no proof. There's no facts that more policing helps stop crime. Because I mean, it's obvious when something happens. Like for example, we're just talking about the KTS situation. Now, the KTS, the Cutthroat family, are gonna avenge Dre. Dre was a well-known member, well-looked-up-to member of that gang. So they're gonna avenge him. So they're gonna go to their enemies, whether they did it or not, and they're gonna go blaze their block up. And the police know that. And the police are probably gonna be there for a little couple days, and they won't go blaze the block up. But how long are you gonna be able to keep that presence? You know, you can put 10,000 cops in an area, they gonna go make it happen where they are not at. And that's just the way it is. It's cat and mouse shit. It's cops and robbers shit. So, I mean, it makes sense to me. So, what is the solution? We still don't know. Let's go get a little more.
See is there's a perception of communities being occupied, which then, again, it increases the stress in those communities. People feel unsafe because the large presence sometimes when you see of law enforcement coming in. I think what we want to do is we want to try to reduce to the best of our ability, reduce the anxiety and the frustration and the stress in these communities. That's one of the main ways to get that violence down.
Okay, so we're talking community, and that's a really important aspect of this. The question is that part of the solution? So Lance, I want to talk to you about that, so stand by.
All right. That was the end of that part. And I'm gonna get to this CBS story. It's related to the same thing. And so you saw the gentleman talking about different solutions to try to curb the violence, and it's probably going to be a long-term solution because you're going to have to start with the little ones and catch them, because these kids 14 and up, 13 and up, it is what it is. They are very well ingrained in the culture. If you get 10 of them, you might be able to save 2. That's not bad, but it's better than 1 or nothing. But you got 8 wild boys and girls out there, so you know, it's spread to the children, man, you know, and it turns into generational. It's awful. But, you know, and it's not even an attack on the police. The police do what the police do. And the police has been there to, you know, curb black people, to bring them to a heel, as Miss Clinton has once said. And, you know, people can say whatever they want, and all of a sudden now, with all the outcries and the social justice demands, it's the police are taking a big beating for that. And they were just the workers for the system. So they're getting blamed, and the people who send them are taking a step back and trying to say what's wrong with the cops. The cops do what they're supposed to do for the last 150 years. And all of a sudden you're saying don't do that anymore. And they don't know what to do. What do you want us to do? Go talk to these kids? These kids don't want to talk to us. They hate us because of what we did to them before. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like it's a paradox for real, man. It's really a double-edged sword. It's gonna cut you on both sides. And speaking of paradoxes and irony and all that other good stuff, all that other Murphy's Law shit, we just saw what our man was saying and how the gang members outnumber the police. I really hope you guys are stuck around for this one. Trying this one out. Check out this total opposite shit.
In Chicago, and we've learned it starts tonight. The move comes on the heels of Police Superintendent David Brown's trip to the White House to talk about battling crime. CBS 2's Suzanne Lemignot joins us now from police headquarters. And Suzanne, you have inside information on what they plan to do.
Erica, we've learned about 200 full-duty officers that work here, right here at Chicago Police Headquarters, are going to be part of that effort. An order reviewed by CBS 2 came out Sunday for officers. It says the Bureau of Patrol has implemented a platoon-style deployment for all full-duty officers within headquarters and certain deployable units under its umbrella. Sources with knowledge of the initiative say officers, sergeants, and lieutenants will be placed in 5 different rotating platoons or groups.
Platoons?
David A. Harris is a professor of law at the University of Pittsburgh School of Law, specializing in police and criminal justice.
When they have an immediate set of problems, it can help. It can simply be more eyes, ears, and hands there to do the job.
Sources say 2 platoons with a total of 80 officers will be deployed each day, working overnight. The order says the platoons will be activated through Saturday. It also says Superintendent David Brown wanted to accelerate the start date of these deployments to begin today. This comes one day after his return from the White House, after meeting with President Joe Biden about gun violence in the city.
The idea of putting more boots on the ground, more officers into the street,
didn't we just say that
is something I think a lot of police departments do when they face a crisis.
Harris says extra police presence is usually not enough. He says there needs to be clear direction on each officer's mission. Sources with knowledge of the deployments say the platoons will be sent to areas that will be determined based on need to combat violence.
You got to ask yourself, how and where do you deploy? With what mission in mind? And who are they there to interact with? And what will those interactions be like?
Now, we wanted to know more information about the jobs that the officers have right here at headquarters and if those jobs are going to be impacted by the deployment. Well, in a statement, Chicago Police told us that the functions of those officers will continue to be performed, but they would not explain how. At Chicago Police Headquarters, Suzanne Lemignot, CBS 2 News.
Wow. Yep. You see what I'm saying? Yo, that's some wow. Like, man, I mean, didn't they just say that the huge police presence doesn't do anything and it agitates the neighborhood and it just moves the crime other places for the, you know? It's like a bubble, an air bubble. Like, you know, once you move it, it's going to go over here. There's not air here now, but now it's going to go over here. It's wow. They have, and they got this white guy up here, Mr. Lance from Pittsburgh, or the other guy, the brother's name was Lance. This guy from Pittsburgh, he was talking about the criminal justice guy. He's like, yeah, you know, it's urgent, so we're going to have to hit it hard, fast. But we were just talking about long-term solutions and not like, once again, what are we doing? We're confused. So what are you going to do? You're going to take 40 cops. They said they have 2 platoons, 80 cops, 2 platoons. You're going to take 40 cops and put them on O Block overnight. What is that going to do? What about the east side and the other side and this side and that block? So you're just going to put the people, like, I'm trying to understand it. That's what he went to D.C. and came up with. Man, Biden, man, that dude Biden, man, you know, he wanted this job, man. Just like Lori Lightfoot did. Just like Bill Blasio did. They want it. They want it. Because he got a lot on his plate, man. He been had a lot on his plate. He got a lot on his plate. We're going to talk about the plate. We're going to talk about the plate down there in my homeland. And, you know, in the place where my family immigrated from, Haiti. We're going to do that video. And we're going to talk about the president's assassination and everything else leading up into it. And, you know, the potential aftermath. We're going to talk about that in the next video. And Chicago's crazy, man. You know, much love to Chicago. The situation is just bugged out. You got like a bunch of grown-ups fighting over... It's like TV. It's like real life because it is. Political tug-of-wars and all that other crap that goes on while people's lives are ending, you know, and people's lives are being traumatized and corrupted forever. Because... the platoons, and then when we ask them what the job of the platoons is, the platoons got to go after the right people so they know which are the good Negroes and the niggas, as Chris Rock once put. They know who the good niggas, the black people and the niggas. They could tell, the police could tell. Like I said, man, it's a tough job, man. That cop shit, it's a tough job. I see. You know what I always said about the police in these cities, in the big cities, and police cry a lot. Police are just as sensitive as any other marginalized group, and they're just now getting their criticism now. They've never had any criticism. They want to be a group. They're blue, you know, that's their classification. But regardless, I think they should get raises, man. I think if cops were making more money and you demand more accountability, and like them signing a contract, like, yo, you're gonna get this extra 30 a year, but motherfucker, you better not fuck up, because that's how it was in the Navy. It was, you better not fuck up. It wasn't, yo, fuck up, we got you. It wasn't like that. It wasn't. So anyway, I've been doing some podcasts with my friends M and O, the MOD podcast, the lovely M and the ingenious O. They're up there, and Dubby, me being Dubby, I'm the last letter, and we're doing a lot of things on there. You know, we're getting that channel put together. I'm gonna be sharing that stuff. You know, so I've been doing my thing. I've been out here. I haven't been on the standard. You know, I've been paying attention to these YouTube streets. You know, I seen Big Brother Kwame putting it on people. You know, exposing the narcissists and the people with agendas, and because all that man trying to do is motivate people, and there's always somebody else that come, yo, it's just wow. But my man's out here just blocking it. I always said that about Kwame Brown and Sebastian Telfair. Every time I heard somebody call them a bust, I always defended them cats. I was like, yo, what? Especially Bassie. Bassie's from the hood. Bassie's from 31st Street. You know, we played ball with Bassie. Bassie was 10 years old when we were 16 putting work on us. We was 14, 16, Bassie out here. Sebastian Telfair is a Coney Island legend. You can't be talking crazy about him around me, especially because I know, you know, what he means to the neighborhood. And yeah, he screwed up a couple times. He been in tough spots. But it comes with the territory when you're given when you've earned everything you've earned, that like he did at the age of 17, and people still call him a bust. He didn't do this. He had a $100 million contract when he was 18. You know, he been in the league 12, 11, 10 years, like Kwame, brother Kwame, not Kwame, named Kwame Brown. Kwame was in the league getting new contracts, and Kwame a boss, because everybody say it, everybody want to repeat it, you know. And then it's sad because it be good people. When you hear a narrative or you hear that propaganda get pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, that lie eventually become the truth. So, you know, he let that shit rock. And now, you know, the chickens is home, and, you know, we riding with him. Yo, but bottom line, we out here. Like, dislike, subscribe, you know, take care of me. I'll take care of y'all. I'm gonna be on here and we can get it in. Yo, man, it's a new day though, baby. We out here. I'm gonna see you guys on the next cup.